not a hero, he's a criminal. Shut up!
Hello, sirs and madams. I am here with Resolute Germ and my friend Wes Cagle. Hello to all of you. It's good to see you. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Yeah, not much, and condolences to the Yankees.
Yeah, it's never pleasant when the hated Red Sox.
We will address the fake simulation that was called the broadcast of the rigged and fixed Major League Baseball league later on. That conspiracy has been ongoing, along with the conspiracy to cover up the Jets' win streak. We'll talk about the DMs I got from the stadium yesterday. But hello, sirs and madams. And today we have a topic for you. Does anyone recognize this woman? It's not Sydney Sweeney. I know that you guys recognize. Don't give it away. Okay,
Linda
audience,
Linda
guys,
Park?
it's all right. Yeah, it could be. We got one vote for Linda Park. Does anyone need a hint? Do you guys? Hey, what's going on? It's good to see Sci-Fi Sith Dad. It's good to see the Phantom Boomer Explorers. Hello.
I know who that is. I know
all
it. I
of
know
you.
it. I know it.
Trek
I know it. I
reviewer.
know it. I know it. It's Rosie. She's been on Ozempic for a while. Yes.
That's exactly who it is. How did you know? The dead man. Do you know who the mystery person is? Can you guess who it is? As I put my Jets fan uniform on. But thank you all for coming. Welcome everybody. Tweet out that I'm live. We are shadowing that same Pakled Freighter that gives us so much trouble, and we'll be on until that ship goes to warp. We have to keep the Federation safe, and this is. Does anyone get who she is, guys? I'm hoping somebody can get it out there. Can we at least get some guesses? I'll give you a hint. She's a white lady. She
Well, you're
has a
half
streaming
right. I'm
show.
not sure about that.
Beyonce.
Yeah, she is white. Yeah, we already gave away half the answers. It is no, it is not. It's not my ex-wife. It is not a Trek writer. My ex-wife is still fairly okay looking. I don't advise dating her, but she was okay looking. Like, no, this woman, like, her best day, she was like a 6er or something like that, which is not terrible. That's in your marry zone, but she's like 61 now, and she hasn't been a 6 or a 7 in a very long time. She's written a book with someone you may have heard of. She is the niece of somebody you may have heard of, and she has her roots right here in Queens with Admiral Teag. Does anybody know who it is?
It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Fuck that up. Sir, what do you think? Do you know who it is, sirs?
Sir, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
It is the president's niece. This is Mary L. Trump. No, Terry Farrell did much better. It looks much better than this. It's Terry Metalis. It's closer to Terry Metalis. This is Trump's niece. Yeah. Mary L. Trump now has. Yeah, well, let's forget about her political stuff because we don't really talk about that here. The reason that I have her up here, as you can see in the corner, it says Trek Politics. She does not have a dedicated Star Trek site. She's got Mary Trump Media. Okay? Now, Mary Trump Media has, can you believe this shit, 470,000 subscribers?
Yeah, I believe it.
I think I have more real ones, but that's just me. The fake subscribers may be along later. If that Pakled Freighter lands before we're able to get wheels down, like we've seen them. They show up sometimes. We're hoping to avoid them tonight. Your good pal's goal is to change Teag into a fan of the only football team that is a true New York football team of the four. Team is four as the 4-0 Buffalo Bills. They have really cool colors. I think if he had been a Jet, OJ would have been convicted. So the Bills get more respect. Anybody want to just comment quickly? Trek reviewer thinks that I should like the Bills. As everyone knows, I am a hostage of the New York Jets. I feel like if I quit before they do, it's on me, right? Don't they have to? I'm stuck with this, right? I have to stick with the Jets until they change their name and leave town.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why not?
That's Germ's just enjoying my pain. I guess the reason that we have her up here, should we ask her if she wants to be on this show? Because I think that this guest, Mary L. Trump, ghostwriter of The Art of the Comeback, she has spent almost as much time in this century with Trump as we have, guys, which would be, she's tied with us. Jerm, you remember the last time you hung out with Trump?
Hard to remember. I'm sure it was before. It was more recent than she.
We have the same relationship with her and I have the same relationship with Trump, the exact same relationship. It's since about 2000. Our relationship is we were both born in Jamaica, just like him, and we see him on TV. And she happens to have DNA in common with him. He did not come back as a DNA match, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of German or Scottish in me. I think that's what he is. But she has, as you can see, the logo is Trek Politics. Now, I watched 2 episodes of this, and this is the deal. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. There was, and this was something that people had asked me. They want to know, you know what? If only that were true, Trek Revere. Mary Trump has a Star Trek show. Sometimes she actually will just concentrate on the episode, and it's non-political. And then there was one called like How We Can Fight MAGA with Star Trek, or How Star Trek Fights MAGA. And I'm like, if she's going to go with new Star Trek on this one, I mean, obviously it's going to be with like, with fake representation and reverse dystophobianism. I mean, obviously. So I think she wants to succeed at this. So I would imagine she concentrates more on the shows that are popular. So the episode that I watched, they discussed some episode. It was unmemorable. I got 20 minutes into it. It was blasé. I turned it off. The second one, though, the reason I watched all of it was she had an interview with the writer of Trek United. Have you heard of this man?
I have not.
Okay, you actually kind of have. Mike Sussman is his name, okay? He is the creator of... Oh, not the creator, I'm sorry. He is the producer of 70 of the 96 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise. So you're kind of familiar with his work. Now you kind of know who he is, right?
Yeah.
As far as... I want to show you what he looks like. Guys, here is what Mike Sussman looks like. This is Mike Sussman. And it looks like he wrote some Dexter, huh? So he's got... and I can see how he might be related to that from watching some of the darker Star Trek episodes. One of the episodes that he wrote was the Voyager episode where Tuvok mind melds with Saruman, with Wormtongue. Remember the one with Child's Play killing people on the Voyager? Brad Dourif?
No.
Okay.
Is that a Voyager episode?
It's an early episode of Voyager. It might be in the first 15. Jerm, do you remember this one? They sent it on the Voyager. It turns out that one of the Maquis people is a serial prize winner. And he serial prizes people. And so Tuvok, as everyone knows, was an undercover. Is he Section 31? But he's undercover. He might be either Starfleet Security or Section 31. He had infiltrated the Maquis crew. So because of that, they make Chakotay the number 1 on the Voyager. And Tuvok, who the people from the other ship don't trust for like one whole episode, they make him the security officer. But on the Voyager, the security officer has Odo's job as well. And so there's a few people getting murdered on the Voyager, and Brad Dourif, who plays Grima Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings, is the killer. Remember that? No one remembers this one, Jerm?
Yeah, he's the Betazoid.
That's right. He was doing it so he could feel their fear while he killed them, right?
Yeah. He's the one who actually ends up saving the ship from the Kazon.
What happens with this character is he is a serial prize winner. He collects his box top lids and sends them away for his Boba Fett toy. But what Tuvok does is he catches him, And Jackass Tuvok can't understand the motivations for this guy murdering people. Now, to me, the episode is over because he's guilty and that's it. But Tuvok decides to mind meld with this fucking murderer, and he has like a wild delusion and he becomes unhinged for a while. And then the worst part of the episode is Captain Janeway decides what you get for murder on the Voyager. Does anyone remember what the penalty for murder is on Voyager?
You're sent to your room.
You're sent to your room. That's exactly right.
Uh-huh.
I never laughed harder. They drop that story and like they go back to it like maybe what do you think, Jerm? Within 10 episodes?
About the end of the season, because he doesn't really pop back up until the Kazon invasion.
I think the deal is he's at the end of season 1 and 5 or 6 episodes deep into season 2 when they let him out of his room to get rid of the Kazon towards the end of the season, right? The Kazon dogged them through half length season 1 and most of season 2, right? But it turns out to be 22 episodes worth of them being a pain in the ass. Doesn't Voyager season 2 have a finale in the middle and then like a finale at the end?
No, yeah, it is season 2 because the end of season 1 is the one where they find a human colony.
There's not a lot of episodes in season 1. It's short. It's 15, right?
Something like that.
Really 14 because the Caretaker's one story that's 2 episodes long. And we're going to have to cross a couple of bridges with Enterprise soon. But I'm interested in your opinion. Jeremy has already shared this with me, so I know. So I'll start with Wes Cagle. Wes Cagle, what do you think? Do you think it's relevant? Do you think that this show should invite Marielle Trump on and ask her just point blank, why are you relevant to Star Trek?
No, it's a waste of your time. It's a complete waste of your time.
See, I think that people would be at least curious enough to check it out, and I would want me some of her 470,000 followers to see me, because you know what? You're only as good as your trolls. So I'll pick up like 30,000 haters. So I'll get like 30,000 downvote interactions. You got to love that. And from all the right people, all the best people. I just want to say, when YouTube sends me its trolls, it's not sending its best anymore. That's all I'm going to say. But let's see what our audience has to say. And I've noticed the Pakled Freighter seems to be up there and cruising. So we don't have to worry about them for a while. What everybody, guys, if you can tweet out that we're live and hit the like button, it absolutely does help. And it's good to see everybody here. It's Hello Radioactive, sir.
Oh, Radioactive, hey. We
have a weird topic tonight. Radioactive, do you recognize this woman? It is a woman on my screen. She is the topic of the poll, and it's a little bit surprising. You, Radioactive, had asked me, Admiral Teag, what was Mike Sussman's politics? Well, we didn't get an answer, which is great. He went on this podcast called Trek Politics. The host is a woman named Mary Trump. She's co-author of a book called The Art of the Comeback, and she has a famous uncle that you may have heard of and you may have voted for. Now, as we all know, she is fairly critical of the uncle, or has she tacked to being like, hey, it'll be all right? What's her deal? Is she still just...
Massive delusions.
Yeah.
Is she on anything but MSLSD?
I don't even know. They don't usually have her on there that often.
My thought is that like she was exposed as being only so relevant to Trump because she hasn't seen him in 25 years, right?
Yeah. They will bring her on, places like the Criminal News because she's got TDS really bad. So
no one has worse TDS than her. And one of the weird things about her is that she hasn't seen him in a really long time. And this is her story, not mine. This is her story. Her story is that she wrote with Trump The Art of the Comeback. Now, I believe that's acknowledged, okay? The Art of the Comeback, no Art of the Deal. It didn't do very well. Trump wasn't very well regarded. It was between like a bunch of scandals, and the book was, he really needed the money. So like that book, like he didn't have a professional co-writer. And does anyone know what happened to the writer of Art of the Deal?
No.
No idea.
Tony Sanchez, I believe is his name, writer of The Art of the Deal, claims that he became depressed after having to hang out with Trump for an entire year, and that when he had to go review his notes and listen to audio tapes of him hanging out with Trump, it made him so depressed that he had to go put himself in a place where they could help him, bring him up to a baseline of happiness, and keep him from doing anything nuts, while he got a lot of help and took some medication to get over the depression. And then she went back to, then he went back and finished the book. They had to give him a year off to get help after the year with Trump. He took medical leave. He said his wife had to help him through it. And he says he got into an argument with his publisher, but he gave up the argument. He wanted, does anyone know what he wanted the book to be called?
No.
The Sociopath's Diary. So the co-writer of The Art of the Deal is a pretty good professional writer because he comes off as sympathetic to Trump. So that guy at least did his job. We don't have to agree with him, but he managed to keep his brain from exploding. And you know what?
He can be a little bit overwhelming when someone's that much better than a 2-bit writer. It can be depressing.
This guy was a big enough writer to be the writer of the impressive person's biography. So, you know, the writer's quality is a referendum on the person's quality, honestly. He had a professional biographer who was a professional writer who wrote magazine pieces and did biographies. He was qualified on paper, and he had a track record of ghostwriting books. So, you know what I mean? Like, it was a good choice that way. And the guy, think about it, he stays a good choice because that book is a bestseller for a couple of years and helps Trump claw back to relevance because it gets him on the talk show circuit, and it transitions him from failed casino owner to very successful entertainer, doesn't it? He runs for president for the first time on the strength of that book.
He doesn't really. Are you talking his run in 2015 or his other just?
His 1986 week undeclared run for president where he went to like 3 debates.
Yeah, his Ross Perot attempt. I'm in. I'm back out. I'm back in again. I'm out.
It was a book tour. Yeah. This happened to both parties a lot. The word woke is owed to the problem. And let's spare everybody. All right, we know what we're talking about now. The word woke was brought back to us by a book tour. Every once in a while, there are people who are not that relevant who go into politics to sell their book. One of them ran as a Democrat. Her name was, what was the name of the woman who wrote the feel-good books? Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson, like, sells so many books that she easily gets the signatures to run and be on the ballot in every state. And she easily polls high enough because of her book sales of stuff like that Gwyneth Paltrow would believe, that she ends up, you know, in primaries and stuff like that. So she was on stage with the other candidates, and they asked her what she would say to Jacinta Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, who put out an executive order to confiscate all firearms in the country. Remember that controversy, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the answer that Marianne Williamson gave, hello, DJ Ronnie G. Hello, Phantom Boomer Explorers. Hello, Crimlon. Crimlon, check your mailbox. And Radioactive, I just sent an airmail to you. All right, wait, where was I with my little tale of Mary Trump?
The gun buyback.
Okay, yeah, Marianne Williamson was asked what she thought about the New Zealand gun buyback, and her response was, she would say to Jacinta Ardern, girlfriend, you are so woke. And that's the origin of the word coming back, because if you look it up, there's a lot of different references, but the word came back politically in 2015 at a Democratic national debate with Marianne Williamson, writer of feel-good self-help books. She writes books like, 30 Days to a Better You kind of title.
Yep.
Okay. She's very successful in that, so she leverages that to go on a book tour with the Democratic Party, and it really fucks up political discourse because you have someone like, what do you think of this political thing? It's like, well, it's bad as a policy and it's bad for economic growth of the country because this and this why I believe it. And it's like, okay, thank you, sir. What do you think about this policy? I would say, girlfriend, you are so woke. Which like jaw drops everybody and leads to a pregnant pause, and they just moved on. They're like, okay. So no one asked her what that meant. And that's why to this day, like, really, can anyone define woke? Not really,
Yeah,
right?
well,
we have a general idea.
Well, they all say, well, it's a derogatory that the right. No, the left created it. That was their term.
It was not created by the left or the right. It was an antiquated, archaic word for cool.
Well,
it's in the book On the Road by Jack Kerouac.
They took it upon
themselves.
themselves.
DJ, play nice.
They took that moniker upon themselves because to them, if you're woke, it's kind of akin to awake. I see. I'm awake now. I'm woke. I can see things for what they are, even though it's the opposite for them. It's the opposite for them, but
yeah.
it's what they say.
We all have our feelings, but this is the deal with the word. No one can go on Grok right now and get a definition that makes sense. The first thing Grok is probably gonna say, that depends on who you ask. Because, for instance, like if you are neutral and just don't have an opinion on reproduction, right?
Okay.
You're not on either side, but you're open to being called woke because you don't champion one side, right? So on that one, the word woke is clear. But then, like, if somebody is asked about, like, the Second Amendment, and their feeling is, I believe in full open carry, but you have to have a background check and 5-day wait, they are open to being called woke, correct?
No.
Even though they're for full open carry. Wait, they want a background check and they want a cooling off period. Yeah, 5 days, and they want a background check. So
Hey,
no, they're deviating from the full Second Amendment.
Yeah, but
they're not literalists. So, but they could be called woke. That's not constitutional, right? That's where we get into a gray area.
Yeah, but I would take that position in New Jersey any day. Takes them forever to get through that thing. Good Lord.
Fair enough.
5 days,
fair enough.
5 days is like nothing in New Jersey.
In Florida, when I lived there, the Department of Agriculture pre-approved you, and as long as your money order got there on time, it was okay. It was like $11. That was in 2012 when I lived in Florida.
Blessed civilization.
You're just stopping by? Thank you for the support, DJ Play Nice. Well, I mean, do you really want to play? What's the weather in Florida? What's the weather in Riyadh? What's the weather in the Amazon rainforest again? Because that was an interesting game that revealed a month worth of total fake news about why people weren't at Disneyland. People weren't at Disneyland because it was hotter in Disneyland than it was in Cairo, hotter in Disneyland than it was in Tel Aviv, and hotter in Israel than it was in hotter in that word just got us demonetized. Hotter in Disneyland than it was in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. So if you're a real Disney expert, you know that park was right where it was supposed to be. It had the same amount of people in it. Dave C is here. Hail, Dave C. Dave C, do you recognize this woman? Do you know who this woman is? And Radioactive, you now have a pass. I sent you one. People asked me, what about Mike Sussman's politics? With Star Trek, that's now a relevant question. Germ, what would you think of Mike Sussman's politics, having only watched Enterprise and not seen anything that he's written that I know of? And this is the first time I saw him. He's younger than I thought, isn't he? He only appears to be about 45 to 50.
Yeah, I thought he would have been at least
70.
55, 60.
I was figuring like 70, honestly. He's a Voyager writer. I mean, he's a Voyager writer. He becomes the most of the time executive producer of Enterprise. It's Berman and Piller are doing some of the writing, but he is part writer and executive producer on 70 of 96 episodes of Enterprise. So we are deeply familiar with his work, and we have gotten to the point now where it's exclusively him from here on in. He's been on every episode, I think, since season like 1.5.
He's a good little gopher.
His Star Trek,
There was no way he was more than just a gopher and a fill-in writer, being that
because
young,
he could only have been about 30.
if that.
Well, you have to remember he works in Hollywood, so with his extra money, he spends it on looking great, right? Like we can assume that he's filled his hair back in, right? He probably has a full head of hair in back too. He doesn't look like he gets $200 haircuts anymore, but let's face it, it's only Mary Trump's podcast. He woke up and just did this. And his credentials behind him on the wall are 2 shows that I think are okay. I like Dexter, if that's what that is. And we know we like Enterprise.
I thought that was, it says Perception, yeah? I don't know what that is.
But isn't that a Dexter movie? Because that looks
Is
like a
it?
Dexter guy.
Is it? I don't know.
It's on TNT, whatever it was. It wasn't a real movie.
I never watched Dexter, so I don't know if they made a movie for it.
There's a Dexter universe now.
Is
And
it?
an NCIS universe. Yeah, the Dexter universe may or may not continue. It was on hold when Paramount got sold. There is the possibility of them continuing Dexter Resurrected, which is on now. People have mixed reviews about it. Fans of the original Dexter say it's pretty good, but people have to admit that they had to pull a few too many cute tricks to make him able to be a character. Like Dexter, I believe, was terminal when the show started 16 years ago.
Yeah. It's hard to claim to be terminal for that long. You're not really terminal if you're still around 16 years later.
There's a guy I know on Facebook who's been doing it and collecting money on it. Yeah, I went to college with him. I stopped talking to him like 4 years ago. I was like, there's no way. It's like he was putting on weight and like, I feel great. And it's like, wait a minute. And then it's like the next thing would be like some long, complicated this ailment that I didn't understand. So this is Mike Sussman. I believe he's listed as Mike. He goes by Mike. He's not a Michael. So Mike Sussman wrote a lot of our favorite Enterprise episodes and a lot of our favorite stuff. So the question was, what were Mike Sussman's politics? Here's our answer. It seems to me that he had made agreement beforehand, and this would be him because these people just go at it. Sussman seems to have stipulated he did not want to talk about politics or current events. He is not asked about politics or current events. His politics are that he knows not to talk about his fucking politics. And his ideas for the show were so good and interesting and logical that it was a decent 35-minute listen, and it was a very short stream for her that didn't, like, she couldn't do other segments. He didn't want it to be cross-contaminated with anything else. I do not believe it's part of a larger cast. It's too long. So it seems to me that Mike Sussman is at least aware politically. What do you guys think of his call to not have politics and not to be mixed in with a political show? His was only Star Trek. This episode was only Star Trek.
That was probably smart, and he was apparently 25 when he started on Enterprise.
The show lasts 4 seasons, so he's 29 when it ends. That is just shocking. The thing is, he's writing and executive producing it. That flame burned pretty hot. Let me put it this way. Could he do worse than Terry Metalis? We know Terry Metalis only got coffee. Terry Metalis' bad Star Trek was still markedly better than most other new Trek, wasn't it? It was bad. Don't get me wrong.
Just because you're the coffee gopher doesn't mean you don't rise at some point. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy originally was just a coffee fetcher for Spielberg. So.
The thing is that Spielberg went out of his way to say he doesn't understand why she was jumped up.
Well, everyone knows why she was jumped up. It was
she started dating one of the fucking producers who was the money man and married him. End of story.
Yeah, it was supposed to be hey, you get to be the handoff girl.
The handoff or the hand something else?
You're going to be there when Disney takes over, and you're going to have this job for a grand total of 2 weeks.
Or maybe a couple of years, as long as it takes to find, like the idea would be her job search would have resulted in Favreau running it, ideally, at the time that it happened. But instead, she stays. So the dead man is right on the money. I agree with you, dead man. It's a good call on Sussman's part. Sussman was on an episode of this political Star Trek show where there were no political questions, no current events questions, and only questions about Star Trek Enterprise and his other work and Trek United, Star Trek United as he calls it, or as some people call it, Star Trek Archer. Both hashtags are kind of trendy a little.
Well, it's a smart move. It's a smart. I mean, only an arrogant person who thinks that everybody shares their view would politicize anything or jump into there and alienate half your audience. Why would you do
Unless he was a pragmatist who thought that like telling them like, well, I don't quite agree with you on that one, but I agree. You know what I mean? Like, unless he thought he was a pragmatist who could only agree with their rational ideas. Well, the thing is, it's a loaded, problematic thing, and this might be the only episode of the Mary Trump podcast that anyone from this channel watches. Now that you know that, by the way, this is the deal. Mary Trump seems to have watched Hello Lombardi 1969, and Mr. House Party 6 is here. Full spread too soon. Fuck it. Oh, considerations is Pakled Scrow. We are strong. We have photon torpedoes.
We are strong now.
Yeah.
We are strong.
Why are you trying to get Mary Trump on here? Get this guy.
I would like Mike Sussman to come on, and that is the goal of inviting Mary Trump, to make enough noise to get Mike Sussman on. Here's the problem, guys. Mary Trump has 470,000 fucking followers on her Star Trek politics fucking show. This to me is a little bit weird and nuts. Now, I'm going to take this down just because Mary Trump is just an unknown entity to me. She could be friendly. She could not be friendly. I don't know like what her feelings are, but I want to thank my good friend, Mr. House Party 6, who made this a house party. And we're going to find out right now about Sussman's politics with this simple yes or no question. Germ, do you feel respected by his choice, whether or not he feels any other way, before thinking about anything else? Do you feel respected by his choice on that? Because this podcast is mostly her talking about politics directly and other stuff. She seems to know. She has a Star Trek expert to help her thread it through to Star Trek.
I seem confused because why would he would want to go on there? She may have paid him. It may have been a paid appearance for him.
Or she's not as unfriendly towards Trump as we think. Maybe they quietly reconciled, and she is being given this softball interview by the new owners of Paramount, who are known to be friendly with Trump. The Ellisons are friends with Trump. The Ellisons know Sussman.
It's also possible, but I would lean toward the paid appearance.
I would lean towards paid appearance too, but the thing with Mary Trump is I believe that if she was offered the right amount of money, she would start endorsing her uncle. I do not believe she is about much more than making money, because I don't understand the relevance of Mary Trump's... I'm confused by the fact that Mary Trump has a Trek Politics podcast, right? I'm confused by that. My first question to her is, why are you relevant, and why are you relevant to Star Trek? And I will be respectful. I honestly... I can have a conversation with her with no real problems. You guys know me. Am I like the least wired in, staked in person in the world as far as watching the news and knowing what's going on? Correct?
Surprisingly so, yeah.
Now, that's
not to more tuned in than you.
That's true. And I don't know. So I have no problem with this lady as far as I've never been pissed off by her or charmed by her. I was aware of who she was because she was everywhere. So I could listen to her without any baggage. Also, I wouldn't talk about politics with her. This is a Star Trek show. She would have to make the same agreement. But here's the thing: what makes her Star Trek show need 470,000 followers? I don't know about that. I just don't know if
when she's pulling. She's only looks like it's pulling about 10,000.
This is like her best performing one, but it's real new. It's 3 days old. Remember, she doesn't have like a media machine. But I believe for her, like it comes down to Blue Sky, right? Is she even on X? I mean, if there's certified Marielle Trump on X, I will DM her.
No.
Should I start the address, dear sir or madam? Dick.
Oh.
What do you think of it? Should I end it with thank you for your attention to this matter?
Oh, sir, no, sir.
I think it would be an interesting conversation.
There is.
Go ahead, Jerm.
She is on X and she is verified.
Oh.
I will DM her at the end of this show based on the outcome of the chat. What do you think of that?
Go for it.
What do you think what do you think with 14 votes? Have you looked at the results? Do you guys know the results? What do you think is winning? The choices are, the question is, should the host of Star Trek Politics be invited to Saving Star Trek? That host is Mary Trump. So with 14 votes in, yes, it's topical, is just running away with it at 64%. No, she's not really about Star Trek, about a third of us. 7% are agnostic and are agreeing to agreeing to like the stream. I hope all of you like the stream. I'm here to be liked and I'm here to be likable. I love you all. And Mr. House Party 6 says, do it. Germ, what do you think? I would prefer Sussman as well, by the way. I would prefer Sussman as well. All right, so we'll leave the poll up. You guys think on that one. Let's move on to Sussman. His politics were inaugurable through this interview. He seems to have laid down ground rules because God knows she didn't want to do it that way. He seems to have laid down ground rules that Mr. House Party 6, you will always be bigger. No one's bigger than you. You're the man. In and out. Yeah. See, I don't know that she has TDS anymore, despite her appearances. I have an opinion. My outlook now on media has changed since I've been doing YouTube, and I think I flipped out Wes Cagle with a couple of things. Like, Wes, do you remember when we had the conversation where I told you when Haktua appeared, when I said I thought that she was a plant who was going to sell cryptocurrency, and Tony was like, "Yup," and you were like, "Wow." Remember that?
Yeah.
I've been doing this long enough that I could sniff some stuff out, but I really don't understand why Mary Trump is doing I think Mr. House Party 6 is just having some good fun with us. Mr. House Party 6, no, you're the man, right? A dark void of nothingness, not Zen. I don't know. You know what? It would be interesting to have her on here and like, could you imagine? She's genetically 25% the same as the president. If she talks 25% as long, all I'd have to say is, tell me why you're relevant. And then I'd be like, thank you, sirs and madams. Good day. Right? 2 hours later.
Dude.
I'm going to be honest. You can do that with anyone from your neighborhood and get the same result.
We have found that out. Yes, that is kind of true.
I'm scrolling down through. I went once Germ said that she's on X. I'm scrolling through her feed.
Is it insane TDS stuff?
Yeah, I mean the first two things are the most recent podcast she's been doing. The next one that's not the podcast is a TDS tweet.
All right, okay, so she's still on that, but it could be performative, right? If it makes her money, like we just don't know. Look at someone like. Some of the people meme copium roasts, like who was that guy? Rakita Law, right? Like he was his political opinion or whatever, his legal opinion on the thing that made him famous that we won't talk about. That was all correct, but he was only like speculating on ballistics and stuff like that, telling people what they wanted to hear with that big story. Correct? He's not an expert in anything but the law. Rakita was an expert on the law in the state where a crime that was major news happened.
Yeah, Rakita got famous off of the Amber Heard stuff.
Rakita got famous off of the Minnesota riot. He defended someone named Kyle. Or I'm sorry, he didn't defend him. He didn't defend Kyle. He advocated the law and was the legal expert on shows such as EFAP and may have been on Drinker. He was on all the shows. He had 150,000. He had almost 200,000 subscribers. Dropped off to half. He's the one. Terrible charges made. He was more or less kind of cleared legally, but he's not watching any kids that I care about. End of story. He's a fucking weirdo. And I can say that's my opinion.
Let's just say the state has a very close interest at where he is at all times right now.
You might be right. Here's the thing. I think it would be very interesting to have her on and have her explain why she's relevant. And then my next question would be, why are you relevant to Star Trek? And I would love to hear that answer. And if there is time for a third question, because Mary, it's only going to be 2 hours if you want to do it. Also, Matthew Modine is invited on the show too. And I will guarantee at least $200 in donations directly to your First Amendment freedom of speech charity. And that's, really quickly, back to the word woke for a moment. Remember for months and months and months, Grok could not ascertain Admiral Teague's political leanings because Admiral Teague never posts about politics? Remember that?
I do remember Gronk thought that you're some type of schizophrenic with multiple personalities.
It did think that I was another YouTuber and myself. It thought that another channel was me. Yes, it cleared that up. Basically, Grok now thinks I'm a conservative, and I asked it why. This is why Admiral Teague is a conservative. Ready? I am against I am against burning the flag of the United States of America, and I have made numerous posts supporting law enforcement and numerous posts supporting military veterans and demanding that their memories be honored and respected. I don't know if that's very controversial, sirs. Do you know anything about me politically aside from the fact that I'm not an idiot from that? That's nothing. If that makes me conservative, then that's what I am. But I stand by Grok's take on those issues, that I am very much against burning the American flag. However, I don't know if it should be against the law because that might bring on violence that could hurt police officers who I hold in very high regard because my dad who raised me was NYPD. So I also was the biological son of an Army veteran, so who fought in Vietnam. So I have, I love America. I love the American flag. And I have high regard for laws and law enforcement. So I asked it, could he just be some leftist with a few practical beliefs? And it said it was exclusive to being a conservative to believe those things. That's what Grok told me.
Grok is usually right about that.
Well, here's the thing. It did hypothesize on the fact that maybe I was like a hidden Democrat. It entertained all possibilities. You have to know how to prompt Grok. By the way, just so you know, guys, it's going to tell you that you're awesome the first time you ask it about yourself. Then ask it what's wrong with you and ask it to be serious. And it'll be like, well, you'll find out some shit. But I would like to hear Mary Trump tell me why she's relevant to Star Trek. I would ask Germ that question. What makes Mary Trump relevant to Star Trek?
Oh,
that she needs exposure? That she's not popular and she thinks that New Trek Star Trek will get her YouTube show going? I don't think she goes live, by the way. I don't think she really goes live. I think she's like a lot of political YouTubers. They have a live premiere. I don't think Mary Trump truly goes live. She may be upload only. I don't know. There's not a lot of to watch there, and it's not that entertaining. It's not a Star Trek only channel either. It's called Mary Trump Media. I guess it does. Do I risk my conservative, bona fides if I put her link in the chat? It's only fair at this point, right? I've been talking about her show too long.
Yeah, at least link to the her last episode of Trek Politics.
This is the one with Mike Sussman, guys. If you want to watch the Sussman interview, here's the thing. The fact that I could not ascertain Mike Sussman's politics. Gavin, hello, sir. Sir! Sadly, these days, if you're honor hard left, then you must be far right. That's as far as the discussion goes. Remember J.K. Rowling and Elon were considered darlings of the left wing a few years ago. Here's another guy. Remember the guy who wrote Art of the Deal? Registered Democrat Donald Trump. Democratic donor Donald Trump wrote Art of the Deal, correct?
Yeah, that Overton window has pretty much got on a rocket ship and headed left.
It ended when he declared for president. Let's remember that. Donald Trump, in Art of the Deal, says this. I recommend that everyone read Art of the Deal. I use mine to manage conflicts. Did you guys know that? I have a bookmarked a copy of Art of the Deal with all the parts about how to fight with people bookmarked, and I use those when I get into a social media conflict. There was no Twitter yet, so I just like call the person up and call them a piece of shit. I'm like, okay, that could be a post. You know what I mean?
But
there is extensive instructions on how to fight and have a social conflict, and how to win in a social conflict in Art of the Deal. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, the
Yeah, I've
Jedi
read it
mind trick
before.
only works on the weak-minded, though. So
What do you mean? The
It's
philosophy
just-
of that
it's
book
words.
might be that
It's
you should
words.
try.
it's just
The
words.
philosophy of the book might be that you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. If,
No,
well,
you
if
go first.
If you get bent because somebody is having a flame war with you online, I think the problem is you, not them.
If it depends on the flame war. Let's pretend the flame war goes on for 162 weeks. Then you might be like, what if you had ignored it for the first 14 of those
No,
months of that, right?
you're mistaken which
There's
end I'm
different
saying has the
kinds.
problem.
Yeah.
The problem who ends
Yeah,
up.
okay.
If you call somebody a piece of shit and they lose their mind because of it, I think maybe the problem is the person who lost their mind, not because you called them a piece of shit. I think they're just unhinged already.
Even Mother Teresa is open to impingement on this one because she said a few things about the people who live not in she had a few fucked up opinions about the people who live between the near and the far east. How's that for very diplomatic, sirs?
Yeah. Well,
Unit is the ultimate achievement in computer evolution.
just because you're what was she, a humanitarian, doesn't mean you can't have hot takes.
Sir, that was so controversial. Sir.
You're talking about a saint. Mother Teresa was quoted with things, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, like saying she gave no painkillers to anyone in the hospitals that she ran because the pain brought them closer to God.
Ooh, that's just
that was a good excuse because she didn't have access to painkillers.
She had plenty of access to painkillers. She also took a lot of money from a guy called Idi Amin. Or I guess what we should call him was...
the last
she
king
took
of
money
Scotland.
from Scottish royalty, yes.
Yeah.
She took it from Saul Gawara. King Saul Gawara of Scotland. Did I say his Star Wars name right?
Yeah, Saul Guerrera. Yeah.
It's Guerrera. Okay, it's tough. The philosophy of Art of the Deal seems to be this, and I've read this book like through once, and then I annotated it to be able to fight. It seems to be that you should try the Jedi mind trick first anyway to see if it works.
Oh yeah.
And then once you've tried the Jedi mind trick, you know where you stand, and everyone knows where they stand. The thing I don't like about opening up with the Jedi mind trick is I'm not as bold a negotiator as the person who wrote the book, obviously, and also I feel it gives away too much about me if I come in there and try to like make you both. Yeah. It's like you're not really watching my show, right? I mean, denying reality or something like that.
Yeah. There are people who you end up getting.
It's a bold play. That's
just
all I'm going to say.
Just remember, most of the time, the people you're arguing with on like Twitter are already not living in reality. So.
Oh, this is fucking hilarious. Finger phasers, says Mr. House Party 6. You know what I love about this? Everybody knows. What have I always said I would get my augmentation from the Borg if I was on the Final Frontier? Does anyone know what it is? What body part I would get changed?
Sir. Easy, sir.
You might have a few guesses.
Inappropriate.
Sir. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
No one could
I
guess?
came home, there was a man in my house.
Oh, the one-armed man.
He had a mechanical arm.
There you go. Well, I'd want a mechanical arm where I can do those different attachments for the hand. Some for offensive weapons, some for defensive, some for pleasing the ladies. So,
like they said in was it not Robot Chicken? Like they said in Seth MacFarlane's Star Wars parody. Yeah, it's just like a regular hand, but practice first on a hot dog or you'll rip your dick off.
there you go.
Some of that shit was funny. Seth MacFarlane is at least legit funny. Yeah. This is the comment of the thread right here at the Dead Man. Yeah, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. I don't think I'm saying anything controversial at all when I say that the president's strategies are bold and audacious. Anybody? Is that controversial?
Oh no.
No. I'm trying to think of somebody who might have more audacious takes than our president.
Have you read my Twitter spot?
In the city, we're attacked by 3 Roman legions. Arab women stripped them of their tunics and their swords and lances. The soldiers lay naked in the sun. 2,000 years ago, I was here. Well, this match will not be postponed.
We want Mary Trump on the show for the fuck of it. 64% of you want her on the show. Anyone else want to vote in our poll? It's a weird thing that she has a Star Trek podcast and we still haven't figured out why. Germ, what's her relevance to Star Trek? Is it just that she has no other relevance, so she does a Star Trek show because the Star Trek show that she saw but didn't pay attention to shared the point of view that she represents when she mostly goes on TV?
I'm thinking her producer said, "Oh, we have this slot to fill. Maybe talk about Star Trek." And then she turned to him and said, "What's Star Trek?"
I think her answer might have been more like telling of the fact that she's 61. She'd be like, "Is William Shatner available?" You know what I mean? Like William Shatner's never doing this show, by the way. You know what I mean? Like William Shatner is the reason I took the strict no politics pledge.
Oh yeah.
There were some other things.
William Shatner would do that show. William Shatner would be on Mary Trump. He'll be on your show too if you give enough money to his horses.
Mr. Shatner, everything the show brings in while you're on will go to your horses, and I was very happy that the blood sugar was dealt with out of an abundance of care and not because it was an emergency. We love you, Mr. Shatner. We all love William Shatner, and you know when Mary Trump talks about old Star Trek, I saw her go like 1 for 2. One segment they talked only about Star Trek, and it was all right. You got to be able to take her co-host. He's not very masculine, but I mean, he's not like trans or anything. It's just like, he might just have a weird accent, but like, it seems to me like he's really down with new Star Trek. He didn't talk about it in either of any of the three podcasts I watched, but, he said who his 2 favorite Enterprise characters were. Would anyone care to guess who this man's 2 favorite Enterprise characters were? Mary Trump's Pride Weather was number 1.
Oh God! Come on!
I swear, it stunned the shit out of me. It stunned the shit out of me. And that was number 2.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So exactly the opposite of me. Now this is the thing that's really fucked up about the Mary Trump interview with Mike Sussman. Mike Sussman is asked about the only episode that Mary Trump could be bothered to understand, so she watches the one that relates to Quantum Leap. She asks him only about is it 1 episode Detained, or is it season 2? It's pretty early on, isn't it? It's like episode 16 of season 1, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
If anyone remembers, tell me, but like, it's a really early Enterprise episode, and if you guys have ever seen our uploads, Detained is the most epic Saving Star Trek video essay upload, because in that one, which is the only one that has video in it that's kind of long, the ones that are like an hour and a half, that's the whole conversation distilled down. I'm thinking about cutting and re-uploading just the score parts of those, and re-uploading the ones that didn't do as well. I found out that it's got to be 20 minutes to Star Trek uploads, but the most popular, one of the most popular ones was Detained. And in that one, if you remember, I flipped the panel from it's a good episode to it's trash. And my logic was irrefutable. And then we spent like at least an hour just laughing about how insane Trip's attack runs on the prison were. And that's the one where Putin's litter box got all fucking crazy because we made an analogy that it was like a Vietnam attack, the way he air raided the village in the like, it was very evocative of it. It's like, I don't know what's your botched airstrike analogy war, West Kegel? Mine's Vietnam.
Botched airstrike. Probably.
Gotta be Vietnam, right?
Operation Cobra. They
Is
they
that in World
dropped
War
they,
II?
they dropped a bunch of ordnance on their own people that was when they were trying to break out of Normandy. So
Oof.
Bradley.
Yeah, I
came up
remember.
with the
Okay, yeah,
idea.
and the name rang a bell right away. That mission at least made sense.
Oh no, it made
fails.
sense, but they some of the planes strayed too close to because it was supposed to be a roll. It's hard enough to do a rolling barrage with artillery. They wanted to do it with planes.
The methodology was flawed, and also like at that point, the turnover rate was so high. You're talking like at least 70% green crews.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Bombers are like that was a rough war. Think about it. You lose the whole plane and the whole crew, or the
Yeah, well, that
plane
was-
comes
that was
back and you can fix
part
it,
of the-
and some of the
part
crew
of the-
come back.
Part of the problem, I think they used too many level bombers and not enough close in air support. So
All right, yeah, that's one specific battle. What war, right, comes to mind for botched airstrikes, right?
yeah.
It's not Desert Storm.
Oh no, they were pretty dead on there, man.
That's the opposite of the reputation of Desert Storm. So if we're
Yeah.
gonna draw, like so, anyway, Mike Sussman, the writer of most Enterprise episodes, or the producer of a lot of 70 Enterprise episodes, and the guy propositioning us with Trek United. His politics are none of your business. I don't want to talk about it, and it doesn't belong in Star Trek. So everybody feels respected by at least this interview, and I would call that right there is it's simply cause for hope because whatever his politics are, we can count on him based on this. We can't take it to the bank, but there are early indications the wind is blowing in. He might address topics that are uncomfortable, but it seems like he would be suggestive, even-handed, and observational. And after touching the stove, might not try to do news on Star Trek again because he didn't want to do news here. What did you think about? What's your takeaway from the no politics in my interview apparent pledge?
It's a good move.
Jerm, you got feelings on this one? What does it speak to you about the man? You're muted. Okay, Jerm might be AFK for a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to say to me, this was a positive. I felt that he was doing a pretty good job navigating the questions. And then the thing was, when this was always a softball interview, everyone there knew more about Star Trek than Mary Trump, so she doesn't really figure in. She didn't ask him any questions about like purity, contamination, like his outlooks, anything like that. She asked him questions germane to Star Trek, but it was mostly her expert or she was reading, was my opinion. But she didn't seem up to speed on Star Trek Enterprise because her favorite characters were the same as the experts, which is always a sign that you just didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like she
Yeah,
wasn't
no.
like, oh, I love Hoshi. You know, Captain Archer, Scott Bakula is so handsome. Nothing like I just loved when Connor Trenier comes up. You would figure like Mary Trump would have been about 40 when this was on. I figured Mary Trump would be like, I love Connor Trenier, right? Would be the answer I would expect. Anyone? I'm curious. What do you guys think? If she had watched this show at all, she would say she liked Connor Trenier or Scott Bakula, correct?
Possible. Well, I mean, you know,
Those are nobody's favorite characters, sirs.
I'm pretty sure you know my two favorites are Hoshi and Trip. So
Right. Here's the thing that if there are 7, and there's really not 7 major characters in Star Trek Enterprise, Mr. Prideweather falls off the map, and there's a case to be made that Phlox isn't in it quite enough. There's a lot of episodes he's not in at all. He's either in the whole episode or shows up and gives like one little piece of advice and leaves.
yeah, he's my third. I really like Phlox.
You know what? There are good episodes like Dear Doctor is a good episode, but
Yeah.
Doctor's Orders isn't.
The one where the crew all has to go into comatose states and only him and
That's Doctor's Orders.
okay. I like that one. That's a good one. Yeah.
What's cool about it is Hoshi has one of her better. I'm sorry, not Hoshi. Well, Hoshi is in it for a moment, but T'Pol has one of her better outfits, and it was a cool way to waste one episode of story time that didn't waste your audience's time, right? But it wasn't the greatest. It just wasn't the greatest. So Mike Sussman says that he failed when he wrote the episode Detained. So he agreed with the reviewers. Validation for saving Star Trek. What do you think, Jerm? How does it feel? Are you back? I don't know if I don't have a private chat from Jerm. Sometimes his VPN decides that he's not going to participate for a few minutes. He may be struggling with that one. I would ask you.
I like Detained. I'm sorry, I like Detained. I'm in the minority.
I liked it, but it wasn't a good Star Trek episode. As far as it wasn't good Star Trek.
Oh, I thought it was
very watchable TV.
I thought it was basically it was a war prison break movie. So.
Yeah, here's the thing. It was a good story. This is something I've said about a lot of Enterprise. It was a good story, but it wasn't good Star Trek.
Yeah, it can be. Both things can be true at the same time.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be their thing. So it was a good story, but it wasn't good Star Trek. It was my opinion on that one. And he says that, like, we just messed up the Star Trek part and it wasn't that good and we got lost. And then they tried to, like, ask the one political question about that one, saying that, you know, was it about 9/11? And he's like, well, of course it had only happened when I wrote the episode. So I'm only a human being. So it was, of course, on my mind. But this episode is an analogy to internment in World War II in America.
Yeah, this is true.
George Takei's situation is what this is about.
It is spot on. I mean, they were rounding up people just because of who they were.
And so are the bad guys in the episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. In the episode, they were
Dean
rounding
Stockwell's
up,
species. Yeah, Dean Stockwell's human-looking species are rounding up the Suliban. And then I found this one out. Did you know that the Suliban were named after the Taliban, but it was because of that botched White House visit, not because of what happened later?
Oh, was it really? I didn't.
They went to the White House when Bush was. They went to the White House when George W. Bush became president because he didn't know not to have them there, and the press was just like, "What is with you assholes?" And they were like, "Why do you not allow people to laugh? Why do you have, like, capital punishment for dancing?" And they were like, "Fuck you! Like, we'll delete you too." And this was in January of 2001, so that's what influenced the name Suliban. And they were like, we should have known to watch them based on just the way they acted that day. Does anybody remember that fucking press appearance where they went to congratulate him on winning the election?
No, I didn't.
He wasn't smart enough to know that they were going to troll him. It was George W. Bush was known for a lot of things, being good with words, not one of them; being smart, another one that wasn't. Hey, read by nature. Enterprise's problem was the show was not yet Star Trek. It was more why we have Star Trek due to trial and error. They were trying to reverse engineer it, and that was openly their mission. That was openly their mission the whole time. They were also told to, like, keep it Star Trek enough to keep the Star Trek fans, but not be so Star Trek-y that it turned everybody off, because they had one too many episodes of, like, Voyager where they got lost in technobabble and never delivered. There was no way this wasn't a match. The thing is that the show Enterprise keeps making the same mistake, and they did this in the episode Detained, and I think Sussman even references it. He considers Detained a failed episode, by the way.
Yeah, you know, if you're saying if the standard is it pure Trek or not pure Trek, then yeah, you can classify it as a failure, but it's not a failure as far as a compelling story.
He was like, I've had better stories, a lot better stories, but yeah, it was all right. Was his outlook. That was absolutely just his outlook. He's like, yeah, you know, we worked with Dean Stockwell. That was great. Dean was great. Like, she was like, you know, tell us about the political aspects of the story. And he's like, well, Dean was great. You know what I mean? It's like, she was, obviously they asked, the only reason to ask about that episode's the topic and Dean Stockwell. Dean Stockwell gives you enough of an excuse to talk about it without being, like, labeled as going after the topic, but that episode is what it is.
Yeah, no, I like I said,
the show had hit its stride by the end. It was a better show year 4 than it was year 2. Year 1 it was a better show than it was years 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, there's not many episodes that when I rewatched it just recently. I watched all of them. I just binged the whole thing. And there was very few that I went, oh, I remember this one. Skip. I'm going to pass it. No, I pretty much watched almost all of them. The only one
Enterprise is deeply bingeable.
Yeah, the only one I really skipped was I did not like the one where they have the Paul in there for dinner, and they ask her to tell a story, and she tells that what is that?
That's
Creek?
considered a franchise high. Carbon Creek is about
Carbon
her
Creek,
grandmother
yeah.
Tamir.
Yeah, I didn't like that episode.
I consider that one good. The only thing is it would change canon in a prequel way by having First Contact be before the Zephyr and Cochrane First Contact. However, I would say that the episode, if you watch it, doesn't violate canon too much.
No, it's
Like,
not a bad episode. I have no problem with it personally.
Go for it,
ahead,
Germ. You're back.
It doesn't violate canon because it's not introducing
Might be
to
making
the
it
public.
up. It also the story's not.
Making it up, and no one outside of that little town would have ever known.
Yeah, no.
Here's the thing: the only confirmation we have is that T'Pol has a 1920s flapper girl's purse in her room on the Enterprise.
A souvenir.
Well, I mean, she could have bought that anywhere in San Francisco. You know, it's just a 200-year-old artifact at that point. And I might even buy one to have, like, to hold my remote controls in. You know, just have to put that on the coffee table to put the remote controls in, and just like, what do you have? Oh, it's a 1920s flapper girl handbag. It's velvet. Pretty cool, huh? You know, it had that kind of appeal. Yeah, there you go. Well, no, flapper girls are a certain kind of chick. Do you know what a flapper girl is? The 1923 chick.
Yeah. They did the Charlton.
Yeah, they also they had short hair and they wore those cool hats. And flapper girls were the first women to smoke and curse and drink in public.
Yeah, they frequented the speakeasies. They were wild. They were the wild.
They were Generation Zero feminists. They were suffragettes. They just wanted to vote and work. They didn't have any beliefs that we thought were too insane.
Oh, I don't know if they wanted to. I don't. I guess they were. I'm sure they supported the 19th Amendment, but I don't think that was their primary.
No, that was one of their defining traits, was that they wanted to vote. They wanted.
They really wanted. I think they wanted a party.
They did want a party. But the thing is, they wanted to have a job to fuel the partying, right? They wanted their own place. They didn't want to get married right away, and they wanted to work for a little while. That was the flapper girl traits.
Yeah. See, if Drew Barrymore had been alive in the 20s, she'd have been a flapper girl.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe for the look of a flapper girl, Selma Blair always had that haircut.
Oh, okay.
It comes back. The only movie I can think of that has them is either you could watch any gangster movie, and any woman who's young would be a flapper girl by default because that's the fashion of the 20s. So in The Godfather, you'll see a couple in the beginning part.
Yeah,
but,
they all had Vulcan haircuts. So.
Yeah. I would ask Jerm this though. I asked this question. You were away from the mic for a moment. What's your read on Sussman as a storyteller based on his decision that he didn't want to talk about Star Trek and his feeling that Detained was kind of not his best work? It's all right, but I had better days.
I think he's pretty cautious. He's not quick to take praise. Very defensive when it comes to something that might come back to bite him in the ass, and it's pretty smart of him.
It was very smart. Do you feel disrespected or respected or neutral, or what's your feeling on that one? I felt respected because I felt it was out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
and it was very out of the ordinary in this field where we do Star Trek.
Yeah, it's nice to see someone who's relatively intelligent among them. Very rare to see.
Oops, I was muted there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That was weird and otherworldly. Okay, we had a Star Trek guy who was a pretty good Star Trek guy, and he had the good sense not to get into politics. We never see it these days. It was a conspicuous omission, so it has to be. My feeling was this. Now, no one has to feel like me, but this was my takeaway. I have to count this as a respectful move no matter who you are. And Jerm, what were your feelings on his move on the politics?
That far. It's not respectful. It's more of he knows when to keep his mouth shut. He is on the verge of getting something rolling, and he doesn't want to ruin it.
The other thing is he might also simply not be all that political and be a pragmatist. But if he could, the fact that he was able to keep it in his pants in this forum means that he's pragmatic enough to write a story from an observational point of view where he doesn't indict anybody. There's episodes of, say, TOS as an example. Do you know the episode A Private Little War from TOS?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone think it's anything but a Vietnam analogy? It's the only episode, it's the only TV at the time that references Vietnam directly too, but they call it the Bush Wars on your Asian continent.
I don't know about...
It's supposed to be about Vietnam.
Yeah.
It's about proxy wars. It's about proxy wars.
Yeah, yes. I was going to say not necessarily particularly Vietnam, but definitely proxy
wars.
Definitely, yeah.
That was the... Well, You're right in the sense that the analogy wasn't very strong with Vietnam at all.
Yeah.
The analogy, we had hill people and town people, so it was unlike Vietnam that way. The Yangs and the Coombs is more Vietnam. Right? The Yangs and the Coombs is closer to that.
Yeah. But the Yanks were the VC.
That's your favorite mad Star Trek captain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wes Cagle, tell us a little bit about why you love Ron Tracy.
Well, because the man was ruthless.
He spoke with his phaser.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Why waste words when you've got a freshly charged phaser?
Yes. Yep.
All right, so Jerem, you thought it was, you're thinking he's merely a pragmatist. Do you think he could write an episode about an issue as sensitive as the Vietnam War and keep it as neutral as the episode, say, do you consider it neutral, the episode A Private Little War?
I'm sure he can
that one I can go ahead.
He can definitely do better than most right now.
Do you think A Private Little War is neutral on proxy wars and observational?
Pretty neutral, yeah.
The idea is that war is still bad no matter what. That was accepted by everyone, including Kirk. But the thing is that Kirk starts to disgust McCoy because he wants to fuel a proxy war.
Well, see, this is where it's neutral as far as neutral as it can be, but I think it's an indictment on the outside powers, sticking their hands, meddling in because when they get involved, and as that's what a proxy war is, the bigger powers fight by proxy with these smaller powers, it escalates things beyond
this unit is the ultimate achievement in computer evolution.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. No the problem. M5 sometimes has a mind of its own. I saw Mr. House Party 6 was using some Star Trek computer terms. I thought you had paused. I apologize for interrupting you with that one.
No, that's okay.
It's good to see everybody. And if you're working, we hope we're entertaining you. We really hope you're entertaining you. So how about this? What does it say to you about his professionalism, at least then, as a story writer? Like your belief that he could write a story where it's about as neutral as A Private Little War. And my stance is The Private Little War can be watched by both the pot-smoking 17-year-old hippie and the 45-year-old World War II vet father without either of them getting into an argument and without either of them getting angry about Vietnam, and because it doesn't really handle it too much. And like the overall episode, the episode's take is no war at all is the perfect solution, but there are no other solutions than proxy war for this situation on Neural, which is the planet from that one. That's the one with the Canutu woman.
Yeah.
I'm a Canutu woman. She was fucking hot.
This is with that unicorn ape, right?
Yes. We got the vanilla gorilla in that one. I call the Mugatu the vanilla gorilla.
Mugatu.
The vanilla gorilla unicorn. What else can you call the Mugatu?
It's true.
Sir, the planet's called Neural. It's a beautiful beach. This place is beautiful. Sir, there's one problem. It's the Mugatu. Well, what's the problem? Well, sir, it's a giant vanilla unicorn gorilla, sir. It attacks, sir. It attacks people, sir.
It does.
JT now has an effing nomad thanks to me. We for the shows that you guys did without me, I gave everybody a little token of my esteem, and JT got nomad, Sean got Sean got a command chair, and Jerem got some other Star Trek memorabilia. I forget what it was. But thank you guys. Yeah, I didn't want to say it. Thank you, sir, and thank you, sirs. And I did appreciate that one greatly. It's good to know that, like, if I have to do something, this show will still go off. Although that might not be the case on Thursday, because one, it's not an emergency, and two, I need to make some money, sirs, at my real job. I called them up and I said to them, sirs, I have no money, please. I need more work. And they're like, okay, sir, we'll hire you, sir. But you have to work at night, sir. And I was like, well, I mean, it's all about making money, so I'll be there to work at night. So I might have to go do some consulting at nighttime, is the best way to put it. There might not be a Thursday show, but we were basically plateaued at episode 3 of Landman, and we have a chance to go forward if we don't do Thursday. It's 50-50. To do Landman in a second bite, where I think, Germ, you said that the first episode of our Landman panel covered episodes 1, 2, and 3, and we got to the end of episode 3, and we talked about it for a really long time. And I think our takeaway from that is episode 2 of our Landman panel show is most likely to have to be episodes 3, 4, and 5, right? Like we're gonna have to touch on episode 3 again to go to 4 and 5, because the based showdown at the wind farm is the end of the opening act of Landman.
I would touch on episode 3 and then focus mainly on 4, because that is way too much information clogged up into one show.
Is 4 that big? Yeah, so it has streamitis. Episode 4 is packed with events and stuff that's important to make you renew your subscription and watch episode 5. They did that.
There is no real down episode on that show.
That's Taylor Sheridan's season 1 strength, isn't it? There was no down episode of, in my opinion, if there was a weak episode of 1883, it's the one where they get drunk with Tom Hanks' wife. That one kind of I could live without. There was no weak episode of season 1 of 1923, in my opinion, but season 2 of 1923 was speckled through with weakness here and there, and might have had one whole episode worth of throwing away story, and maybe one whole episode we could have lost in its entirety. Like, if they didn't combine those last 2 episodes, they were looking at a failed streaming show. I think that was the best damage control we've seen in streaming.
It was pretty good damage control.
What did
you don't have any problem like that on Landman?
Well, the thing is, Landman is going to continue. 1923 was always going to have only 2 seasons. And the people who say 1883 should continue, watch 1923 and see how season 2 holds up to like season 1. Season 1 is like an A+, all episodes. Season 2, it's like, there's a C here and there. And it's mostly B pluses. And what is there? 2 A's up front, and then it's B plus for the rest of the season. One time it falls to C for most of the panel, and then it ends with a B, like an even B, averaged out across the panel. No one gave the ending a C, but everyone said if they had to wait another week for the end of the story, they would have hated it. Correct?
That's about right.
And also, you could see where they edited the events into sequence that they wanted to make it one episode. They took the train station confrontation and moved it forward 10 minutes, didn't they?
Yeah, the editing there was pretty obvious.
It was very obvious. The thing was, he was smart enough to do it, so I trust Taylor Sheridan. I would be very curious about a Taylor Sheridan Star Trek show. And by the way, this show brought to you courtesy of everyone's favorite StreamYards. Wes Cagle, is anyone surprised I'm still here? I am.
Yeah, you've not been cursed by StreamYards yet tonight.
You know what? The Dead Man just set us up with something really kind of prescient here. For $8.99 a month right now, you can grab Paramount Plus, and I'm not the Paramount salesman. This shit's just true. That's not even their special. That's what I pay every fucking month for unlimited Star Trek alone. It's worth it. I turn on Star Trek a couple of times a day when I can. You know, like a down hour at work, turn it up. You know what I mean? Watch like half an episode of that week's Enterprise on my phone the wrong way, but you know what I mean? Like, get the sequence of events, hear the story in my mind. Maybe I can't watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it's worth it to have that access. But they don't cost much, and cost versus entertainment. You get more out of that $9 than you get out of the $20 at Netflix. It's just true. Anyone want to tell me I'm wrong? Right? Is Netflix still 20 or is it 25?
Try 30.
Holy shit, sirs! So it's less than 1/3 of Netflix.
Wow.
What do you think of Paramount Plus, and what do you think of it at its price? I think that Paramount Plus is one of the most poorly constructed streaming platforms. It doesn't remember your favorites. It's starting to now. There have been tech upgrades since the sale, so that was nice to see. But it seems to be CBS All Access reskinned. It's very, very much state of 2017. It's not totally clunky, but it's not Netflix functional. The banner ad, most of your screen starts to play the trailer while the tiles stay up. The tile doesn't start to play the trailer, so it's weird. It's like weird like that. It's jarring, and you get the music. You can't get away from it. Paramount Plus always throws the volume on you. You have to search for shows with Paramount Plus muted because of the annoying beginning of every trailer as you go through the tiles. So it's not well thought out. I hope they do that. It's not intuitive or very good at remembering your shit, and it has some of the worst closed captioning this side of Disney. But they do not put stage instructions in the captioning, so I like them better. And they don't have sponsors on the captioning, which is the weirdest thing Disney does. This captioning sponsored by fucking ESPN Deportes? Like, don't you own that? Like, what the hell? Russ. West Cagle, you were in beautiful New Jersey today. Did you see our friend Rachel Ziegler?
Oh, was she in town?
I don't know. Is she still in London? Germ, is Rachel Ziegler doing it? She's in Jersey with West Cagle at this point, isn't she? She's not at your house, Germ? She's not at West Cagle. She's not at your place? Have you looked?
No, but I did feel a disturbance.
She's not out in the garage? Yeah, oh. Did you feel a Sith Lord? Is that Samuel Jackson's worst third line in his entire career? A Sith Lord?
No, a Sith janitor. Who the hell you think we're talking about?
The line itself couldn't sustain, and his delivery, not the greatest. Jeremy, is there a worse line in Samuel Jackson's career than a Sith Lord?
Yeah, but not where he's not taken to a CGI reptile or a shark.
That movie is still better than the only movie his organization succeeds in. Was it called Formula 56, where he designs like super crack? Remember that one where he's basically Heisenberg and he wears Scottish clothes? He's got like a kilt on. Remember that weird Samuel L. Jackson movie from like 1996 or 7?
No.
If you want bad Samuel L. Jackson, Snakes on a Plane or Deep Blue Sea.
The thing is, Snakes on a Plane was made to be bad.
Yeah,
and he said that this movie is bad when he went on when he went on publicity. He's like, we finished it to keep it bad. I bought the movie and fired the director to preserve the badness.
Yeah, and it still has great one of the most quotable lines on the internet, man.
Which one?
Tired of these MF snakes on his MF plane.
That because the internet wrote the line. You didn't know that one?
Oh no. I got it backwards. I thought it was the other way around.
What happened was he said it was something like best comment gets to be a line in the movie. And the thing was, the comment that got retweeted. I think it was back in the days of early Twitter. So it was, I am sick and tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. And it got retweeted like thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and Samuel L. Jackson dealt with the question on like Conan O'Brien. Like the only talk about poised for a comeback. Guys, sirs, Conan O'Brien was never all that political that I remember. He might be the only one who could come back.
I want Craig Ferguson back.
Craig Ferguson might be political, but he didn't show it.
No, yeah. And he was funny.
He was very funny. Yeah, I would take him back too. I don't know, Germ. Team Coco?
What's that?
Would you give Conan O'Brien one more try at the plate now that we're kind of cycling through late night show hosts?
Sure, 5th time's the charm for that guy.
Oh,
I had forgotten that it would be basically the 5th time because he's a YouTuber now.
yeah.
I would say this: he stayed consistently funny and unique, and it was the kind of thing that Colbert should have been more like. And if they had gotten Conan O'Brien to be the host of the CBS Late Show, and kept him, he would still be there and it would be fine. What do you guys think?
It could be.
He's the only one who never really, his political jokes were it stayed in bounds.
Yeah,
he also hasn't been
boring.
relevant for a long time. Yeah, he could descend into so idiosyncratic that it got boring, but it was usually pretty funny. If you follow along long enough, he started to thread a long needle. But basically, story number 1 was Mary Trump has a Trek podcast. 17 of you have voted. And in about 5 minutes, we're going to close the poll. So get your votes in now. Right now, leading the poll, 59% of everyone thinks it's topical. And that they would like me to invite her on the stream.
Oh, it looks like the stream, see results is gaining ground.
All right, hey, and we gained 470,000 subscribers. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was looking at Mary Trump's site. I thought it was mine. Thought we had a good night. What can I tell you? You never know. You never know when you're suddenly going to have more concurrence. Remember that time that we had more concurrence than we're watching Doomcock because we had like 15,000? Were you both of you were here, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. You'd have thought that would have been good, but.
We had a good old time. Listen, man, sometimes people come here and they try sabotage, as William Shatner called it, but we got what? Something like $50 worth of bots in my channel jail doing life. They're never getting out. No one's ever going to be able to use them on this channel again. And we have the channel for it. When they came at us the last time in force before we started using things that just seemed to make them glitch out and implode, before we figured out the technical ways to fight them, when they came after us, I think I personally swatted like 35 bots while we all we did was laugh for like an hour, and I think the record holder was Obi-2 Wrath of Kenobi with like 200 bots swatted in like 2 hours. Does anyone remember those streams? There were like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. You pull one of those. You've pulled, according to Grok, there's something called like Chatbot Buddy or something like that. I found out about. I had to investigate the boosting technology too while we were getting sabotaged, and it costs about $50 to do an attack like that. It really does. Lowest you could do it for is about let's say $6. So there is a wide range of diversions, and it comes on just sophistication of the bots. The thing is that if it was the cheapest attack, there were so many attacks that my estimate is it was $1,800 spent on this channel. What do you think, Jerm?
Yeah, that's plausible
300
amount.
attacks is a conservative number of attacks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a conservative estimate. There are 750 videos on this channel. I unlisted 100 of them because we just spent the whole time laughing and swatting bots. It was fun at the time, but it was one of those that seemed like a good idea at the moment. It's just it doesn't make for good re-listening, but it was hilarious, and I could bring them back for the 200 likes, but basically what we had was maybe 30 real people and 400 fake people, and the real people were all locking the fake people up in jail, and then all the fake people started talking in an AI voice, and then we figured out a couple of things, including subscriber mode. Fuck them up. And I'll share that one tip. Jerm, would you advise subscriber mode for people having the kind of problems we did?
Definitely. That'll take care of most of your bot problem.
He called Haiti okay. Well, I don't know how deep it went, but okay, so Conan's not as obnoxious, but he does align himself with them.
Yeah, no.
My point wasn't that he was apolitical. Yeah. My point was that he seemed to be in bounds with his jokes. His own personal beliefs might be more intense than what we saw on TV. But that's what I was saying about Sussman rings true for Team Coco. I trusted Team Coco for a professional show.
I'd say between both Sussman and O'Brien, they
both use alternative comedy.
Yeah, they both know the border for network television. You can't cross things on network television, and they are both very aware of that.
And both of them are very much in a position where they might come back. And I don't mean that Sussman is definitely getting in this Star Trek show. Germ is almost sure it's not happening. And I would honestly say this appearance on this podcast is a sign that he's trying to keep the conversation going, because it's clear that he made them not do their regular show to have him on. And he's bigger than them, but they're not that big, and he's not that big either. Mike Sussman has maybe 700,000 people around America are now aware of what Trek United is. Sound about right? Out of 380 million Americans? Less than one congressional district worth of people have heard that Scott Bakula might come back. That's what I mean by they've heard of Trek United.
I'd say it may cross 1 million by now.
Okay. He's doing a good job at keeping this narrative going because there's very little to it. But I would say this, the things that he rolled out about the Trek United story were interesting to me. It didn't seem like it would have a lot of action. It seemed like he was pitching it as the Star Trek West Wing. But the fact that he didn't want to talk about current events and he refused to comment on he didn't comment on new Star Trek. New Star Trek didn't come into it at all. He wasn't even asked about it, so he didn't have to talk about it. And that had to be a choice too, in my opinion. I would ask you guys call on that one. What do you think, Germ? Choice? Don't ask me about the new stuff at all.
Yeah, he had a list of rules going in.
They seem to me to have been good rules.
Yeah.
I trust this guy to write an amusing story. What about you?
Yeah. He knows
it might
he's
not
in
happen
the
with
lead
this
right
one.
now.
He
knows
kind of
he's
is.
in the lead. Yeah, he is definitely in the lead right now. He knows it, and he doesn't want to screw that up.
If Mike Sussman started a YouTube channel, he wouldn't have 700,000 followers, but 700,000 to 800,000 people by now have heard about this Scott Bakula coming back and new Star Trek going away rumor. So it'll be interesting to see how far that goes. Sussman is here with a slightly toxic host. Let's be honest. It's a stigmatizing last name. There's a reason why the last name isn't used as a tag here. I just don't need the hassle. And like I said before, and the other, I guess I would recuse myself again. I am not hooked in enough to be political, but I do not believe in burning the American flag. It makes me fucking sick. I do not believe in mocking the death of U.S. soldiers. It makes me fucking sick. And I do not believe in not complying with the police. It makes me fucking sick. And according to Grok, I cannot be anything but a conservative. You go figure. I would say that shows Grok's limitations more than mine. Jerome, have you ever been able to figure it out, or am I just a confusing mess?
Oh,
Basically
you're
uninformed?
Well, yeah, that's most people, but I'd say
Willfully
you're quite conservative
uninformed?
for a New Yorker. You are very well informed and on the conservative side.
I actually am fairly. Well, one of the things that Admiral Teag can do is talk at length about the U.S. Constitution, but I don't do it. We've had the conversations, guys. Does Admiral Teag have pretty much command of the whole constitutional document from memory? Not like clauses and stuff, but generally what's in it. Pretty damn good, right? I had this guy. Yeah. Let me put it this way, guys. I did a year-long consideration before I started YouTube, and I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't enough time because I got in with some of the wrong people when I started YouTubing, and that's only wearing off now. But the only decision I stand by was I decided I would not be a political YouTuber, sirs. I decided that I wouldn't do politics because you know what?
Sir, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
People are going to get burned out on the politics sooner or later. If they know my show doesn't really have it, but I live in the real world and we have a few jokes here and there that aren't that bad, like Conan O'Brien used to know how to do, I feel that's my job. And when this channel became monetized, I got booze out of my house and I fucking swore off watching the news. That one Germ can fucking verify and West Cable can verify. Germ and Wes Cagle told me about the L.A. fires. Remember that intervention where you told me that I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about?
No, I don't disagree with limiting the booze if you're going to do YouTubing normally, but yeah, I would still watch the news. At least independent news, not.
It makes me upset.
Yeah. Unless
all news makes me upset.
It's the booze.
The news would cause. This is why the news upsets me. You ready? The one thing that gets Admiral Teag down, and I guess I'm going to give ammunition to my haters here, but if you use this to get to me, you're a piece of shit. The one thing that gets me down the most is Americans at odds with each other. The current political state of this country has me sad. This panel condemns the amount of acrimony in general in the world. I think we all do. At least when you come here, we try to keep it light. If anyone acts like a total piece of shit, we ban them from the chat. We could have 7 more concurrents. We all know that. And other things. West Cagle. You know, I think you should go with West Kegel. Like Eagle.
Well.
Yeah.
I do encourage the Kegel exercises. I'm a big fan of when they do those, especially during. So.
Have you ever thought of going on as Iron Kegel, like Iron Eagle? Remember the New York sportscaster? There's a sportscaster in New York. He might be national now. I think he does national football games. Iron Eagle is a New York sportscaster.
Yep.
Yeah, you got that private backstage, right?
Okay, I understand. Wes Cagle, you're set, and Germ might have to beam out in a few. Germ, give me everything you got on your mind about the likelihood of Trek United, and pitch yourself so that you can recuse at will. I'll give you that now.
Yeah, the Trek United is an interesting idea. Right now,
Wow,
I'm not
you've warmed
ready to
to
get behind it. As an interesting idea, I don't think it's going to happen, though.
You're still not 100% behind it even happening. You don't know if you want it, but now you're calling it an interesting idea. The first thing you said was your first take was to totally scoff and call it nonsensical noise, right? Which was mine too, by the way.
Yeah, but they've gotten some more details out, and it's
all
not
of them
the worst
good.
idea I've heard.
All of them are positive.
Yeah, it needs a whole lot of work if they actually greenlight it at all.
And it needs to be a standalone series of Trek movies, not its own fucking streaming series, and not a fucking and it can't be a streaming series. Section 31 was the worst garbage of all time, but it should be a 90-minute streaming movie like Section 31. They've done 6 of those.
It needs to be part
people
of
from
an
Enterprise.
Anthology.
Yeah,
I'm convinced
you were
it needs to be part of
right.
an anthology.
Explain your anthology series more, because that was one of the greatest ideas I've heard.
Well, to celebrate the history of it and not the present, we give every show one 60 to 90-minute episode of an anthology series to just jump ahead of where we left everyone off.
How do you do the original series? Is unification the only thing that's there for that? You have to do it with TNG and Voyager and DS9 people? TOS is out of the question?
Yeah. TOS is...
George isn't working with William. William isn't working with George. Walter is fine with working with either one. You can get Walter.
You can actually do an animated episode of that, since they did have the animated series.
That is true. You could just get voice actors. You know what? In the role of Spock as a voice actor, a voice-acted Spock written by other people, I accept Zachary Quinto. And by the way, with different writers, I accept Zachary Quinto as... I would give him another shot because we've seen much worse with Ethan Peck. Guys, Ethan Peck. Wow.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I think it would be okay to recast in places you need to, because it's not just the original series that has lost people by this time. We've lost people on pretty much every show. So recasting
Tuvok unfortunately is still with us.
Yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines of Nog from DS9.
Can anyone believe how big that shit got with Tim Russ's ex? That it bled over to other YouTube. Like, we reported it as routine news. I didn't know I needed to make a video on that one. That went viral as fuck. He's like the most hated ex-Star Trek actor by the fandom and by decent people at this point. to put it mildly, Stephen King said, "I'm sorry, I deleted the tweet." Right? About the same topic that this asshole's dug his heels in on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jerem. So what else is going on?
Stubborn.
Are you going to be with me on Saturday? Can this?
Yes, I will be back on Saturday. I will do the pre-show watch party.
Oh,
And,
outstanding! I'll be there.
Next week we'll have the Kaiju watch party and a Wednesday watch part or a Wednesday stream.
Now, do you agree with the consensus in the chat? I don't know if you saw it, and like literally, we were talking about E Squared is the episode of Enterprise that comes up next, and Sean and JT were of the opinion that one and the next one.
I lost you there.
Yeah, you cut out. I don't know. We lost your audio. Oh, he might. I think maybe the duck finally caught up with him.
Yeah. But as for E Squared, I know it's not a very good episode. That it does fill in a few blanks from earlier in the season, but they were real stupid blanks.
Let's see. Remind me that one again.
Second Enterprise.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I remember. I gotta.
It has Trip and Paul's son captaining the ship.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what? When they yeah. I'm hot and cold on those episodes during that part of that season.
Yeah, it feels like they should be wrapping up the season, but they extended it a little bit too much. About 20 episodes was the right mark for this storyline.
Yeah.
But they just had to go a little bit farther.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I thought that the crew of the I guess the future Enterprise, future, I guess, or alternate Enterprise. They
future past Enterprise.
Yeah, they were nuts, man. The only one that was sane was DePaul. I think they were out there in the what is it, the
Expanse.
Yeah, the Expanse. I think they were out there too long.
Can you hear us, Teag?
Your audio sounds like you're in a fishbowl.
You guys need to carry most of the conversation for about one more minute.
Yeah, sure. It's getting better though. The audio's getting a little better for you. Yeah, no, I didn't. I thought that episode we didn't particularly need it. I thought it was filler.
Yeah, not a great episode all around.
No, well, they can't all be bangers, but
yeah.
No. Anyway, I still think, even though it might have been a little bit on the weaker side, I like the season 3. People sometimes don't care for the Zindi arc. It kind of deviated from the main story, but I like the arc. I don't know.
It's better than I remember. It's not great in my opinion, but better than I remember.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of throughout the arc. I think they wanted to do the entire season with the arc, and so we end up with filler. It's kind of almost a case of when the filmmakers don't realize that you need to leave some stuff on the cutting room floor, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I think they had a number of episodes they had to fill, but they made the arc the way they wanted to. And then they had to figure out where to fill in holes.
Yeah. I think they did a better job than Deep Space Nine did with some of their arcs, because they spread them so far across in Deep Space Nine with intermittent other arcs in between them that it kind of got convoluted sometimes. I think this was a better idea to try to kind of make them consolidated. But
Yeah, sometimes DS9 they forgot what they were doing.
yeah, I'm watching. I'm like, what happened to that arc I was just paying attention to? Now we got something else going here. But I still like DS9. I think there's some great characters, especially when you got Garrick in there. I think he might be my favorite DS9 character. So
Yeah, the character work on DS9 is far better than any of the others.
oh yeah, yeah. You still sound
No.
muffled. Yeah.
Oh no, he's on his phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it might be. He might have had some computer or internet issue. Who knows? But let's see the dead man agrees with you. He says the Dindy arc is definitely better than he remembered, but not great. So yeah, you got a consensus there. You know, you got people. Probably a lot of people agree with you there. So.
The Zindi arc is all good TV. It's just not really the great Star Trek. It's Stargazer.
No. Oh, Reedy by Nature says the Odo and the Quark episodes were good. I don't disagree. I like the when you get a dynamic between two characters, it works out well. Which is why I like Garrick and Bashar. I like those when they interact together.
Yeah.
And I like when Bashar and O'Brien have time together on the screen. I think they worked well. So.
Yeah, they're good in smaller doses.
Oh yeah, no, you can't. See, I think that was a strength of DS9, especially because they had such a big cast of main people that they could do it that way. You didn't get an oversaturation of any dynamic. So.
Yeah, and they can all interact very well together. There wasn't really a lemming in the entire cast. Most of the others, you have like Prideweather or Wesley, who just can't do anything with anybody.
Yeah.
But you never really had that.
It's starting to come together now, but it's been a disaster for a long time.
I dislike Wesley. I don't dislike Prideweather. He's all right. He's okay. He's not great. He's probably the weak link in the chain, but he's all right.
He's forgettable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wesley, despite everything, is not forgettable.
Yo, it's true.
Well, I mean, the actor
drag his face through the sand,
right?
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. That's why I think they have like at least two, maybe three episodes that are almost entirely. I know one that's entirely focused on Prideweather, and it's terrible. The one where he goes onto the his old family's freighter. That's awful. Yeah. It's an awful episode.
Yeah, that whole episode only exists for the member belly of the book Gangsters of Chicago. They imply that that's the ship that goes to Sigma Iosha.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
But it couldn't have been because it was a Federation ship that went there, and they were just not anything close to a Federation ship or ever to get that far.
Yeah, no.
By the way, did you guys know that there's a Windows update? This is how you find out when you're a YouTuber.
Oh, you
always schedule your updates.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, it was supposed to not do nothing. I asked it to skip the update because I ain't crazy, and like all of a sudden I have this like stupid fucking countdown.
Oh, yeah. See,
this is how great StreamYards is. Ready? And by the way, the free software or alternatives to StreamYards are actually worse. Although if this keeps happening, maybe not. I have to spend the money for another month's worth of StreamYards to get an okay, not great second mic to leave StreamYards running on a second computer so that like when this happens, I can just go over and like throw myself back into the stream. The way Doomcock has two icons, when like one sings and one is like when he interacts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that's the thing. My updates, I always push them back, but they can only push him back so far. And when it gets to that point, if I don't turn my computer off, it never updates. It only updates if I turn my computer off. So.
Here's the problem: when you get ducked, you can only reboot to get back on.
So that's what.
I tried to reboot it, and it wouldn't let me do it with the controls. I had to reboot it with the actual button on my computer, the most destructive kind of restart.
Yeah.
Everybody get ready for the new Microsoft update. We'll find out how horrible it is in about 1 more minute.
Yeah.
John, do you think E-Squared is a whole show discussion, or should we do 2 episodes that day, sir?
Probably 1 is going to be fine. I'm not sure what the episode after that is.
Is this Enterprise you're talking about?
Right.
Okay.
The thing is that the feelings expressed by JT and Sean is that tomorrow's Enterprise E-Squared is so weak, just do anything but watch it.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
I might rather watch Picard.
I'm going to try to leave the stream without ending the stream and then rejoin the stream on my other device.
Oh, did it finish updating for you? Well, I guess he's
hopefully
done with the update. So yeah.
Yeah. It should work.
It should hopefully.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of this stream. I'm ending this stream. I think I'll just close the window and try that.
Well, maybe you should. Maybe forget this StreamYard stuff. Maybe you need to try alternative streaming. Oh, he's gone. He missed my Landman reference. Oh.
That still is the funniest part of that show.
Yeah. That scene in the wind farm is great, and the scene at the beginning of the episode 4 that you guys were is going to be covering is great with the lawyer and the deposition. Oh man, it's great.
Last time I watched it, I counted 3 felonies she committed in that.
Yeah, they're all terrible people, man. But it's great. I mean, she just tears them 18 new buttholes, and Tommy just can't help but laugh. Great. It's a great scene.
All right.
There he is. Now you're back full.
Yeah, my speakers will kick in. My headphones will kick in a second. You might hear a little audio bleed because right now I can only hear through the tiny speakers in the back of my freaking computer.
Yeah.
Now I hear you. It takes a minute for Bluetooth headphones to kick in. That was a nightmare. None of the usual earbuds I used for my phone functioned after I jumped into StreamYards. You have to not be in StreamYards, put on the earbuds, jump in there. Oh God. The boring things I found out about StreamYards in the last 6 minutes? Jerm, you had to leave when I got booted. Do you gotta get out of here?
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Any promotions?
I'll be back to full scale next week. Kaiju on Monday. The Saturday, Saving Star Trek pre-show, and then a Wednesday talk show.
And we'll know it's probably going to be a 2-episode show this week. Sean and JT feel that's the way it's got to be. But okay. I don't know what the episode after E-Squared is. I think, oh wait, no, they meet up with Degna and they do some plot shit, and Archer tries to destroy the Death Star. I think their point was that E-Squared is not a conversation. It's like a reskinned Voyager episode. I found it interesting, but
something like that.
It was only just kind of interesting. It wasn't great. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Everyone should join Jerm's channel. He is the best. All right, my friend.
Bye, everybody.
I'll see you later. Bye, Jerm.
Take it easy.
I lost track of the Pakleds too, Wes Cagle. I've lost track of the Pakleds, Wes Cagle. The Pakleds are still in flight. We're safe. We're safe until the Pakled's go to warp. We've been patrolling this part of the Federation space for a while now, and Admiral Teag is finally back.
Sir.
Sirs and madams, welcome. All right. Welcome to the last 20 minutes of our show. This is where Admiral Teag makes predictions and takes your questions. Let's see what everybody's got to say, and also I'm going to say a few bold things. Ready? Sure. You know how I always keep... obviously, I don't know if you guys realize this, but there is a lie going around about how you can fast forward, pause, and play live TV. Have you heard this lie?
It's called TiVo.
Well, get this. I was watching the Jet game, and I had it all figured out. Right?
Yes.
I was going to like during the game. I figured I'd fast forward to the end, find out the score, and then bet on FanDuel and win a bunch of money. But you can't fast forward; it's stuck in the present. So, yeah, it's bullshit. When you get your Roku. Try to negotiate and be like, listen, you can't fast forward the live TV. I've tried. Okay, that's a lie, straight from the pit of hell.
Well, I've been in contact with the Sphere builders, and they're supposed to give me technology to let my Roku go forward. So,
the dead man, those words, they were that was like, I think the lowest point in my life the day those words were spoken. I never was as sad for as long as I was that day. That was a bad day. But you know what? I'm going to take a look and see what the next 2 episodes of Enterprise are. I think that it's possible that that Wes Cagle and JT are correct. And season 3 is weird. Listen to this one. Episode 23 is called Countdown. Episode 24 is called 0 Hour. It's a 26-episode season. However, out of sequence, for some weird reason, at the beginning of April, they aired episode 0 and episode 0 part 2. How crazy is that?
Huh.
The mirror episode with Hoshi and T'Pol in the hot outfits is a 2-parter that is part of season 3 that doesn't get shown until season 2, or it gets shown again. Like, for whatever weird reason, maybe they released it as its own movie, but is it called Mirror Darkly, the Enterprise one?
Yeah, I believe so.
We're talking about the one where they go to the Mirror Universe and they meet Mirror Hoshi and Mirror T'Pol, and they're just as hot, but they're even sexier. Who's sexier, Mirror T'Pol or Mirror Hoshi? I think Mirror Hoshi's sexier.
Mirror Hoshi.
I think the Mirror Universe thing might have been the thing that made me a Hoshi man. I think that the Mirror Universe, after that, I was like, I don't care. I've seen perfection. I thought she was so beautiful as Empress Hoshi. I was like, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care.
Incoming transmission.
Welcome to Saving Star Trek, a show talking about one of my favorite shows, Enterprise. I am Linda Park. I play Hoshi Sato and also Empress Sato. So enjoy this show. I love that it's finding a whole new life on the streaming services. And you better hit that like button or Empress Sato will not be happy. I mean, she could make a storm happen, and she could really make your life hard. Anyways, enjoy the show, hit that like button, and thank you for being a fan of Enterprise.
You know what I always say, if someone's going to make your life hard, it might as well be Empress Hoshi. And that's what you will be getting in the Enterprise sequel show, because it would only make sense that, I guess, I would make her the first lady. I'd have her be Mrs. Archer at this point. What do you think?
That's not a bad idea.
Or do you want her to be out there dating? Because there is like a big age difference, right? Linda Park's 46 at the most, and and Scott's is 70, 71, something like that.
Yeah, true.
Were you surprised how young Sussman is? That surprised me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's for a guy as done all that he's done. That's pretty good. Bad at all.
So yeah, these are the 2 episodes that we're thinking of doing this week. The first one is Tomorrow's Enterprise, season 3, episode 21. It's called E Squares. While on their way to the Zindi Council, Archer and his crew encounter an Enterprise ship from the future that warns them about an unstable wormhole. Who wrote that? That is some bad Google copy. Season 22, The Council. Episode 22 is The Council. Okay, so what I will say is we have 2 very talkish, not very story heavy episodes. The Council is just Archer in E Squared. They meet an Enterprise from an alternate future, and hey, hello. And you know what's funny? Everybody just went up by 40 viewers. Hit the like button. Wow, it happened just like I predicted, right near the end of the show. And it looks like somebody's wife let the libido out for the dead Beto, huh, Wes Cagle?
Could be.
Listen, all y'all, it's sabotage. I disavow the live count, but if it be true, hey, if you really are here, hit those like and follow buttons. We're just wrapping up, and wow, the other show just wrapped up moments ago. Did you know that, Jerm? I'm sorry, Wes Cagle. It seems like the Pakled Freighter only just landed, and then they all got here. Hi! How's the wife? You feeling healthy? How's that arm? Did you look for work today? Did you find work today? All right, guys, I love you all. It's been a blast. We've got them to throw the quarter in the machine. That was my goal. Now we leave on my terms. Snowbilly Grifter, go fuck yourself!